necessarily need to step things up for me, but.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm
Things
going to
up.
call the Marion Township Board of Supervisors meeting to order. The time is now 9:03 a.m. First item, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'd like to ask everyone to please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, as always, the meetings are recorded for audio and video. So I'd ask everyone to please silence your cell phones. I will do the same right now, just to make sure that we don't disrupt the flow of the meeting. Anyone that wishes to address the board through public comment, we ask that you clearly state your name and address for the record and sign in on the sheet at the front here. Do we have any public comments today? We only have two people in the audience, so Leah Mervin. No? Okay, excellent. In terms of announcements, if you haven't gotten your septic system pumped, right now might not be the best time because of it being bitterly cold, but once the weather turns, if you haven't done that, great idea to get that done as it's at the point where everybody's in the required period. If you haven't already submitted a letter of support for grants, especially around the proposed sewer project, always appreciated. They really do help with getting grants. And again, you don't have to be in support of the sewer. You just have to be in support of us trying to be able to pay for it. So moving in.
How many times a year must you have that? I mean,
the pump out?
the pump.
It's once every 4 years.
Okay, we would be only coming up on our third year because we had repair done and they pumped ours out.
The question is, did it get inspected when it got pumped out?
Well, Gary was there doing it.
Well, I think Gary didn't inspect it though.
Yeah, that was before.
So if you're coming up on year 3, I would say get it pumped, get it inspected, because I'm kind of at the same boat. I'm on like year 3, year 4. I got to get mine done anyway. So the timing's great, but the issue isn't so much about the pumping so much as it is the inspection portion of it. The state requirement is that they have to be inspected periodically. And Gary may have looked at it and given it a clean bill of health, but he didn't actually fill anything out.
He didn't submit a report.
So in the eyes of the state, if it didn't get written down, it didn't happen. So I would say put that on your dance card for spring on having that done.
Okay, what about the one next door? That's a holding.
Holding tanks are subject to, I believe, annual inspection based on what I remember from reading the regs for that. And they are pumped out much more regularly than septic tanks because they're holding tanks. So if they have not gotten anything filed, one of the things that system that we have at Hydroterra will do is it will start contacting them and saying, you need to do this, and at some point there are enforcement actions, but we're trying to be not necessarily lenient. Lenient's not the right word, but we're trying to work with people. We're not trying to just say like, oh, well, you passed this date and we're going to start finding it. We're going to start finding it. Like that's not the mechanism here that we're trying to use. So if they haven't done it already, or they haven't had any sort of inspections to accompany the pump outs that they're getting every time.
Well, there was a new one put in when Algar lived there.
Yeah.
And it was double the size of what they needed.
That's fine. But it's the state laws around this, I believe, are you have to have it inspected annually for a holding tank. And then you obviously pump it out.
Okay, but the kid doesn't know that whatsoever.
Okay.
Everyone should have received a letter.
Everybody got the letter. So if they didn't read that, that's kind of on them. But the other question is it actually a holding tank, or is it like a sand mound or some other kind of system?
No, there wasn't allowed to be sand mound put in.
So if it's a holding tank, whether it's double the size or not, that just means they're pumping out half as frequently. But the estimate on that for an average household, I believe, is like every 4 to 6 weeks, you'd pretty much have to have it pumped because it would fill up. So that's already happening. Whether they're getting it inspected annually like they're supposed to,
well, that
remains to be seen. It would have to. There's no way that it.
I talked to him the other day. He didn't even know anything about pumping.
Well, then that can't be a holding tank then, because it would just the physics on
that. It's a holding tank. I was there when they put it in.
It would be overflowing then, Lee. Like there's more to this, but
There's only one kid there.
Well, still, even one person, if they've had it a couple of years, there's this volume of water. All your showers and dishwashing and everything goes in there. So if they haven't done anything, the Hydroterra folks will be in contact with them about making sure that they're on the right schedule for inspection, whether that's every 4 years for a septic tank or a sand mound or annually for a holding tank. That's part of what that enforcement action is. So if they haven't already gotten any sort of contact or letter, I'm sure probably will. Okay, speaking of the Act 537, we don't have any further updates on that. We're still working on the design related things as required by the state. We had gotten some grants around that, which is great, but otherwise no new news. In terms of the current building, I won't labor on this too much because Jesse's not here, but we did get a item back from the building restoration people. From reading through this, it's not the most self-explanatory. Irene, did you get a chance to read that at all?
I did, and my concern is the expense that they want.
Yeah.
To literally come in and do the estimate, that's price is exorbitant.
Yeah, so
I understand why they would need to do it, but it's just, that's a paycheck for another employee for an entire year.
There's a lot of explanation, but not a lot of actual detail on what they would be changing and doing in the building. And the design cost for the project end to end is $175,000. That's not a single piece of construction.
Nope.
That's just the design work.
Nope.
So this is, I think, we'll talk to them a little more. We have that on the table, but this is going to be something that we turn over to that review building committee about that, because that's a lot of money. Temporary office, we're here now. We're settled and at least safe for the time being.
You missed number 5.
Did I? Oh, the National Register. I'm sorry. Yeah, the historic document stuff. Megan McNish was on the other day and would like to have a meeting. So we need to work out a date, and depending on what our expected turnout is, we're probably going to have it at the school.
Probably.
So we'll need to figure out a date and then get that set up with them to be able to reserve the space. Yeah, we'd have to, unless we do it on like a regular Saturday meeting, we would have to advertise. Actually, no, we'd have to advertise anyway because of it being over at the school. So special meeting or not, doesn't matter. But yeah, we would have to advertise that.
Okay, we can coordinate and do it that way. I think that would be good.
Yeah, that might not be a bad.
Okay. Yeah, it probably would be better at school.
Yeah, I don't know. Even if we turn some tables around it, we'd maybe get 20 people in here, 30 people if we were uncomfortably close.
I could be wrong with this, but I think at the last meeting, Al said that once he knows when it was, he was going to be talking to residents and planning stuff out.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that I think the turnout's going to be more than what we can.
Yeah, so I would probably
do it at the
school.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll work
that
on
way.
Down
We're good.
Okay.
Have enough room, and
okay.
So I can coordinate a date with Megan and then set that up with the school and go from there.
Okay, going forward to the next thing then, the future planning. Not going to go into that too much. The only things that I would bring up is I think Jesse and I are in the spring. We'll coordinate and work with everybody else, but we're going to take the bleachers off of those stupid railroad tie things and actually like cement them to the ground. Should be really, really minimal in cost. We're talking about a couple of yards of gravel and a couple of bags of Quikrete.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
So Carl, we did an open space study oh my God, 5, almost 6 years ago now, about playground maintenance. And we did have one of our residents interested in painting the equipment. Is that something that you're familiar with as far as playground maintenance?
I've never painted any of our equipment.
Okay.
Powder coated and
Okay. If I could, we have the booklet. I think it actually might be on my desk. If I could ask you to take a look at this. So this way, if we need to ask someone to get certified to be someone for playground maintenance, whether they want to volunteer or not, this way we have that, again, like the same thing as we're playing check sheets, routine maintenance, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to kind of get on the ball with that so that, you know, it's a safe environment for the kids.
Yeah.
Make sure things are up to speed with that.
The open space book, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's
I think
actually on my
there's
desk.
yeah, there's an
Yeah.
extra one too.
Yeah, it's on my desk. I think it's a spiral book that's
Yeah,
right
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's an
There's
easy,
one
quick
more I can give
read.
him though.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion over best practices, but there was some check sheets in there and routine stuff. There's actually online websites that I had discussed at previous meetings, they're in the book too, that you could go for certifications, but if we get someone or group of people that are interested in doing just that, I think that would be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
This way we have the check sheets, this is what's expected of you, we need you to look at this equipment, it has to be looked at this often, this is what needs to be done to maintain, and I think that's the best thing we could do, safety.
Agreed.
Yeah,
The only other thing that I did want to bring up is,
the speed
the
humps.
speed humps.
Yes. So again, Carl, if I could tap into you for a minute. You had pulled all the data from the signs that we have. That was
I only pulled the data from the
the
one.
one sign. That was,
Which I think is kind of skewed.
okay,
Because that sign reads the cars coming right off before 22 on that long stretch there.
okay,
And it reads them all the way from the beginning.
okay.
So you get some high speeds off of that. to
Some
begin with.
80 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is insane because they're coming off of a 50-mile-an-hour road.
yeah,
It looked like the average speed was about 40.
yeah.
And so
yeah,
then you'll be able to pull it off.
I'd like to pull it off this one to give you
Okay.
guys a little better information. And
Okay.
then my recommendation before spending all this money on speed humps is you can find out what times of the day the highest speeds are going on and coordinate with Tobahawk and maybe set up some speed traps,
Yeah.
once a month or something to
So-
kind of deter things.
When I had talked to Tulpahawk, and the problem that they have is along that stretch of road, excuse me, there's not a lot of spots that they can set up to get the proper line of sight to be able to do the clocking on it. There's like maybe 2 or 3 spots along the entire stretch from
Yeah.
422 into basically down into Wilmersdorf where they can actually effectively sit. So that's a difficulty for them, but they have been trying to grab people before they get onto the road there, and that's where Larry had said that there were people doing 80, 90, 95 miles an hour on 422, which is
Crazy.
just
These
nuts.
fast has been
crazy.
121 right here out in front of the building.
Yeah. I mean, even, I hate to
It's
say,
hotter than
yeah.
mine.
the
Yeah.
school buses,
Mhm.
the school buses are going 35, 40. I know because I'm going 25 and they're just taking off.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was behind one
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to the enforcement bit with the police, but that was something that we had kind of explored a little bit ago, and it's really difficult for them to get a good spot. But
And the crosswalks.
Yeah.
Again, like they're very hard to distinguish from the rest of the paintings.
yeah,
We need to have those crosswalks painted
Yeah.
differently.
yeah. So in the spring, if we get a can of like side or street marking paint, we just got to zebra the crosswalks, I think, because they're just done as the double lines right
Yeah.
now.
They should be reflective. There's actually state guidelines for them. They
Okay.
have
Yeah.
to be 6 feet wide. The stripes have to be.
So
I
he
think,
knows.
7
Yeah.
feet
Okay.
wide.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have the reflective stuff in them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it does have the reflective stuff in them, but it's hard to see still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, to Irene's point, that
Yeah.
basically until you're on them, you don't see them.
Yeah.
no,
But with the speed humps, it looks like
Mike had given us.
Mike had
previous
given us
estimate.
a bunch of stuff, and the general estimate is each one of them would run anywhere between 1,500 to 3,500. Based on the road,
No,
that-
it doesn't meet the bidding threshold, but will we
No.
put that out to bid?
probably not.
Okay,
I mean, we would have to get telephonic
okay,
or like written quotes for it, but we don't
Okay.
have to do the whole pen bid process, which
okay.
is,
So we
timely
come
and
out of
costly.
general funds then?
yeah.
What would be the
Well-
total amount? Estimate.
Uh,
Let me just look here. Just trying to work within.
10 and a half would be, let's call it, just round it up to be conservative, 15,000.
Okay,
But that would be one at the top of the hill if you're coming into town from the west, and then one in the middle of Main Street, and the other one like just a little bit past the Liberty Square. And they are 12 feet in length with a gentle parabolic curve to them, so
Mhm.
they're a slow.
mhm. I just, I'm just, every day that I'm on there, and I'm going 25.
Yeah,
And people are just
Oh, yeah, no,
flying on
people-
past me.
I had a guy
Main-
flip me off because I was going
Yeah,
25.
or if I turn, then they take off. It's like, come
Yeah.
on.
yeah.
You
No,
know?
the speeding has,
Yeah.
as far as I know, always been a problem on Main
Yes.
Street, and we've
Mhm.
tried various things. We've tried soft deterrents like signs.
They're gone. The bollards are gone.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, we had 3.
yeah, it,
There's no
I'm-
respect.
yeah, that's the other thing is there's.
You have to physically stop people at
Yeah.
this point.
So, yeah, I think we gotta up the ante into the next category of things, which is some physical remediation on that, so.
Carl.
Yeah.
Peter, I mean,
Yeah,
I have a question for Carl.
yeah.
You do a lot of snow plowing. How are you gonna manage your snow plow over those ramps?
I'm not looking forward to it.
So,
I know Myerstown used to have them in and they took them out.
so Mervin, we're talking not speed bumps, but
It's like,
No,
like
very,
over by
very-
Bethany, like over by
gentle.
Bethany.
yeah, that, I think the crown of this is only at 3 inches, and you're talking about a 3-inch rise and fall over
Okay.
a span of 12 feet, so
I think a
it's,
couple of years ago, we had
Yeah.
this up on an agenda and I think
Yeah.
they have more of a speed. Boom.
yeah, but we had looked at things, and none of us, myself included, relished the idea of a
did
speed
lawyer
bump,
league.
because they're just,
I'll probably do it
they
today.
suck.
Look at that.
Expensive.
It's expensive, and you're gonna take it out with the plow, and like,
It must be all.
Are they,
yeah.
are they
Yeah.
gonna do anything to the
And-
street under those speed humps before they put them on
I
there?
think there is a small bit of prep work, but you're not having to do a full cutout or anything like that. It's
Some
just,
of it's pretty bad.
yeah. I mean, we might have to do a little bit of remedial work on that, but assuming the road surface was good, I don't think you have to do much to prep it, other than, I think, grind it up a little bit so that you have adherence. And Herman, if you're curious, that's the cross section of the thing. So I would say let's talk to Mike a little more on Thursday. I think that is the kind of the logical next step
Mhm.
on that. Getting that clearly marked, and maybe putting, like, not in the road, but on the side of the road, some little, like, the little yellow stick, like the bollards, so that Carl or whoever's plowing knows when to raise and lower the plow a little bit.
Yeah.
Mike will not be here Thursday night.
Troy,
will-
we can ask Troy. Troy will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
My understanding is Mike's gonna be transitioning stuff over to Troy,
Okay,
so we might have Troy.
that's fine. But yeah, we should talk to him about that, because I think at this point, the three speed humps are kind of the next needed step. The other thing that we don't have to talk about today, but we should look into, is the request that somebody had brought up about changing the parking on Main Street to be diagonal, since
Yeah.
we've got plenty of space. So we should, whether it's Mike or Troy, we should have him do a preliminary measurement and
There's some state guidelines
Lines
for
on that too, yeah.
requirements, yeah.
yeah, to see if, one, will it work? Will it fit? Will it fit in the spots? Like, how do we want to do this? We want to leave it as is. Because it is a very nice wide road, and there's a lot of space there that we could
Mhm. I mean,
theoretically
and
play around with that a
again,
bit.
something that Jesse had mentioned in a previous meeting with the snowstorm, could we do like an alternate side of the street parking?
Mm.
So that one area is plowed really well and people can pass through. If we had that and there was adequate parking on one side, then you could say, okay, alternate side of the street parking is enforced on this day.
yeah,
And so
that's-
we'd have to have the signage for it.
yeah.
and
The other
just
thing
ordinance.
is, like, with snowstorms,
Yeah.
you could do, like, okay, snow emergency.
Right,
Like, we have to talk to Colin on how to legally operationalize this,
Right.
but like, day one, this side, nobody can park on, so
Yeah.
that Carl can plow through the whole thing, and then you
Whole
flip
side,
sides, and
yep.
then you get the other side.
yep,
So we'll have to see what we need to do and how we can go about doing that,
Yeah.
but I think we've got enough stuff there to be able to work with. We've got options.
yeah. I mean, the only inconvenience is you have to go across the street for your car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next one is the LSA statewide grant opportunity. We had used this to purchase a special response unit. We haven't heard anything new on this.
no,
and-
we didn't purchase. It is so that we can purchase.
Well, it's
Yeah,
to purchase. We
Oh,
haven't,
to
haven't-
pur- yeah,
have not
yeah.
purchased. So we haven't heard back on this yet. We only turned this in November, and we probably won't see anything
Mhm.
until like
November.
November of this
Yeah.
year. So,
God bless
Um,
Kimberly, that's all I could say.
yeah, so that's just gonna
Yeah.
kind of quietly be there on
Yeah,
that. We will, did we do 2025-4 at the last meeting? Or is that, we still have to do that, the next one, the fee schedule? I swear we did that already.
Colin had it on the thing.
Okay.
He had to review it.
Oh, okay.
That's right. He had to review all
So-
the fee schedule. So yeah, it will be,
We'll do that Thursday.
Yeah, adoption Thursday night.
Okay. So the annual fee schedule for various things within the township, we'll have to adopt that on Thursday night, now that Colin has finished looking at it. Long and short-term rental ordinances, we're working on IDing the rental properties that are within the township. Kraft is working on this actively.
No, we are.
Oh, you are? I
We
thought
are.
Kraft was working
Yeah,
on that.
we were working with them.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're doing some
Yeah.
stuff on their end. We're doing some
Yeah,
stuff
we're
on
trying to
our
match
end.
up
and-
properties with
okay.
owners and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay, so I'll make a note here.
Yeah. We have to figure out who in the township rents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, probably
Yeah.
some of the easier ones are gonna just be like, look on Airbnb and Vrbo. And see-
No,
see what
actually, the
comes up.
easiest thing that we did, I looked on the tax
Yeah,
sheet and like, there's someone that lives in Florida, but there's a Main Street address. You could safely assume that they probably don't, the owner of the
Mm.
property is in Florida. You could safely assume. So Main Street is our biggest. We expanded the search a little bit further out and Eileen was able to give us some of the tax information too. So we're gonna match up the properties and then we could target those properties with letters.
Okay.
And go from there.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next, the joint comprehensive plan. This is the kind of long-term plan for the area. We actually, from looking at Colin's notes, we actually already participate in the joint comprehensive
Yes.
plan. So I think maybe somebody did something at a turn like 10 or 12 years ago. And we did maybe possibly our own comprehensive plan outside of the joint plan, but we are already a part of that. So we're going to be participating in that and getting that underway in the near future. Colin's still reviewing the agreements, but that's something that you're supposed to update every 10 years or so. And
Mhm.
from that email that was flying around, ours, the joint comprehensive plan that we are a part of is 25 years old. So yeah. Next, road maintenance. This is something that Carl and I will be working on along with the rest of the board. Revising the 5-year maintenance schedule, as well as working on getting stuff planned out for the 2025 road work season. While we're on this topic, Irene, you saw firsthand that section of Shady
Oh my
Cabin
God.
Circle.
I
How did you see my pictures?
Yeah.
I took some pictures too.
Well, if
Yeah.
I didn't have, if I had my new car, I would have been like, Peter, you're walking out to this road.
Yeah.
That was awful.
The road there, granted, there's not a lot of traffic on it, but it's getting to the point that during the winter,
horrible.
it's you basically have to
It's
drive in the
impossible to
grass. It's
maintain.
it's
Yeah.
impossible to get past. Like
Which road's that?
my
Shady Cabin.
Shady Cabin, the dog leg
It's
on there, like
horrible.
anything from the top of the circle all the way down.
It's like
road-
this.
The road during the
It's just a
summer is
rut.
is a little crowned, but during the winter, it's easily 6 to 8 inches of
Mhm.
difference between the bottom and the top. So we gotta figure out something on that. And that's gonna be,
I would assume that, that would qualify for.
that would be
low volume
that,
gravel roads.
absolutely it would, yeah.
There's a couple other sections, like Woods Drive is pretty bad, not
Okay.
much better than that. There's a section at the end of School Road, which I would hope would qualify for that. I don't
Yeah.
know though.
The school might be too high traffic, but
But at the very end,
very
at
end,
the
yeah,
very end, the very west end.
yeah,
I don't think it's used as much as the rest of it.
yeah.
But
Get-
again, you'd have to count the cars and everything.
I would get the 3 of those. Like you already took pictures, I'm sure, of Shady Cabin Circle, but
Yeah, I put them on the.
yeah,
on the-
yeah. But we should get that in, because one of the things that Mike did email about was if we had anything that we wanted to try to put in for dirt and low volume
Yeah,
gravel
and
road.
you know, I believe to qualify for that, at least one person in the organization has to take a class, which I took,
Which,
but I don't know how long.
We've got it.
yeah, we all can sign off on that.
You know how long you have to,
I think it's every 5 years.
I'm probably still good too.
I'm good for another, I think, year and
Yeah.
2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should get those together and do that, because granted, it's not a highly traveled road, but it is getting horrible. Like you can see, like there was a spot where, like, not a statement of judgment here, but you hit it, you skipped it with the plow and it's dirt and bricks under it. So it's bad. So wanted to put that on everybody's collective radar. GIS system. Carl, you had taken the course for that last.
I've had a couple of them.
Okay,
This
right.
one was pretty informational. It was
Good. Okay, because we're gonna work on getting lots of stuff in there this year, and one of the things that I was gonna see about is once we get the initial data collected around like speeds, signs, culvert placement, drainage and stuff like that. If we were able to start getting, working with Hydroterra on getting, system information for like
Mhm.
septic systems
Yeah.
plotted,
Oh, yeah.
wells, even though they're not ours, but like UGI utilities and things like that, so that we have a comprehensive
Mhm.
layered map of everything
Absolutely.
in the township.
Part of the benefit of it.
Yep, exactly. So we want to try to get the feet under it first and then start building on top of it.
I think that has to be approved yet, right? You guys-
Yes.
I think technically, yes, we got to
Yes.
approve the,
So that'll be for the
that'll be
next meeting.
Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we definitely want to do that because it's a very, very useful tool that we can add into the arsenal of things that we have. Next up is Sheridan Road South. The improvements are fundamentally done. We approved a change order to build up the one shoulder on the side there. And that's, I think, in process, but they got to wait for the weather to turn before they can actually start going out and doing any of the work. So that should be ideally maybe March, April.
On Sunday, a person got off the road there.
Yeah,
Did you see the tree that was
I
scuffed?
didn't see the tree, but somebody had texted
There was-
me.
Yeah.
Cause I wanted to
I
get
heard
through.
there was two at the same spot.
Yeah,
Well, the
Yeah,
rollback was there loading the one up and I wanted to
Yeah,
get through.
two at the same exact spot.
yeah.
Within
Yeah,
an hour of each other.
It needs it, and unfortunately, by the nature, because I don't know if we were here at that one meeting, but the reason that it was not included in the original project is because Liquid Fuels sees that as widening the road,
Mm.
even though it's common sense dictates it's a structural
Right,
thing.
yeah.
It keeps you from running off the road, but no, they won't do that. They won't pay for it, which is where we had to do
And there was
that.
a little bit of snow on the road and that'll do
That'll do it.
Off the road,
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Is that road narrow?
It's narrow.
It's narrow. It's not narrower, but it's narrow.
Yeah, it's just a racetrack.
Yeah.
people, Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice and smooth
Oh,
now.
yeah, I
So
like the
people,
smoothness.
yeah,
of
so
that
this-
road often.
yeah, it's really nice, but
This is exactly what Liquid Fuels wants.
it's within the tolerances of what Liquid Fuels wants. And the stipulation isn't so much what the width is necessarily, it's that we can't make it wider. Like that's a whole other project that you have to go through a laundry list of things to make it wider if you're using Liquid Fuels. If you're not using Liquid Fuels, which in our case it was like $12,000 to do this, we can just do it. Like we don't have to do any extra red tape or permits or
Because
anything
that
like that.
burn
Yeah.
Needs some,
Well, that's kind of what we're
We're
on
working
about.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's in progress. So like I said, once the weather turns, we should see that. Same thing with the next item on the agenda, which is the Marion Drive stormwater extension. Allgaier Enterprises will be finishing that up and doing some of the paving in the spring. They're going to be relocating a small portion of the trench, I believe, but again, no update for now because it's
Mhm.
been cold. For items 16 and 17, Ballinger Road, we're not going to discuss in public forum because of the potential around litigation for that. I did talk to Colin and I will have an update for you real quick on the side before we leave. And then number 18, we actually already sort of covered. We're going to work on road projects, what should be potentially looked at repaving, what can be dirt and low volume gravel road, what should be crack sealed, as well as making sure we line up the line painting for
And-
this year.
And all the numbers you gave me, all the 2024 projects we
Mhm.
paid, correct?
Mhm.
And there wasn't any other outstanding debts that we could think, so I'll be
No.
able to give you a number for what we currently have, in remaining in, liquid fuels.
Okay, good. Lisa, do me a favor. I just noticed the microphone's like pointing out into the audience. Can you turn that? Otherwise, I think you're going to have a hard time when you're listening to the minutes. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning, everybody.
No.
The Saldo Collins reviewing, for the most part, the only things that are in dire need of updating is the roadway specs and the 5-year roadway moratorium. But from talking to Mike, it's not a bad idea to go through it in greater detail and see if there's anything else that needs to be updated. So they'll be working on that. Blue Spruce, no new updates on that one. 85 Main. there's no new updates on that. They will need to provide the agreements for review, but they have not done so yet.
It's nice to see the businesses expanding. in our
Yeah,
community. It
I'm
really
all
is.
for
Yep.
growth and expansion
Yep.
on people's businesses. It's good to see that
Yeah.
they're reinvesting in
I've
the
been
in the community.
frequenting them more too. And, you know, my family members as well. So
Yeah.
it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I need to start taking the kids there in the
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
spring.
Blue
It's not, it's
Spruce has a lot of nice products.
Mhm.
Yeah.
all in on Sixth. This is very, very early on in the phase of this development. There's a conflict waiver for negotiation between the municipalities, the intermunicipal agreement. It needs to be drafted. Colin is working on that, but that would outline some of the things between the municipalities that are involved in this in terms of who's got what. We are going to have to figure out some of the specifics on like sewer service, electrical, water, roadways, if that's going to be a situation where it's like Stonecroft
Mhm.
with non-dedicated roads, or if they're going to try to dedicate to us. All of these things, again, we're literally
We're
at
in the
square
beginning.
one on this.
Yeah.
So much discussion still needs to happen on this. Number 24, we are working on putting barcodes.
You
and-
forgot 23.
Did I forget? Oh, geez, I'm going.
It's okay. It's okay.
Going
Did you, how
cross-eyed.
much coffee did you have?
Zero.
Okay, go
Haven't
have a
had-
dip there.
Not had
Yeah.
enough coffee.
Yeah.
Equipment repair. The truck, as we had talked about, we are still looking to see what options we have for replacements, but we are going to get the truck looked at to see if anybody has any thoughts or ideas on repairing it. It's a pretty
Yeah, we-
nasty crack.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I said, I put that in, you know.
Oh, I didn't. I
yeah, it was
apologize, just
after I
didn't see
had
the
the
email.
agenda, so, but you would have to add your little.
So,
It was roughly $1,000 to repair the crack, and it would be roadworthy and inspectable.
would it last though? Do you think? Okay.
Mike,
No, actually, it was, Mill Creek used to be Barnett's.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, if it's $1,000 to get it welded, let's do that and see if there's anything else that we can do to remediate some of the
At
others.
least then we have it.
We have it, yeah. So, let's vote on that Thursday night, but I'm in favor of just getting it
Yeah.
welded. And then if there's anything else we can do, maybe like to get it, I don't know, bead blasted or sandblasted or something like that and coated to try to keep some of the rust out and keep the whatever is left of the frame strong. Let's look at that and do that.
I think you should get Acroteer to look at it. They got us a wonderful welder guy in there. Mike, he is real good.
I can take it over there too.
I think you should.
Okay.
Get an idea. Be good to get a quote.
Yeah, I like comparison quotes,
Yeah,
so I don't have
he's
any.
really good. I mean, that's where I take all my welding things.
I don't have any objection to that. So, Carl, assuming we don't have a spat of bad weather this upcoming week, is that something you think you could do?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be in the
Mike?
40s.
Mike?
Mike, he's the welder, guy in the welding shop. But he talked to John, service manager there.
Yeah, I know John.
Yeah, John, yeah.
Next, the township property. We're putting barcodes and identifiers and getting a database going of all the township property. That's drills and tools and trucks and everything. That way we have a comprehensive list. That's in progress. We did order the barcode stickers or the stickers, the property stickers. The barcodes is
Mhm.
just a matter of doing a barcode generator online. They're free.
Okay.
And then printing out some stickers. Trash dumping. I started looking into the trail cam things on this. I got a couple of models. I'm going to try to get some more maybe this upcoming week.
Okay.
I really think maybe 2 would be the ideal. And then we want to get the ones that have some sort of data connection on it.
Mhm.
That way, when it takes a picture or a video, it's out somewhere else and not physically on the
Mhm.
thing if somebody were to decide to
Steal it.
destroy it.
Yeah.
Road crew assigned duties. Jesse is working on this with Carl. Carl has been working on tidying up in the garage and everything, and I don't think that garage has been cleaner ever before. So good work, Carl. Road crew equipment. Nothing new at this time, but Carl, if there's anything that you come across that you think we need, like, oh, we've got, I'll use a stupid analogy, but like we've got one flat-headed screwdriver. I need more flat-headed screwdrivers.
I've got a partial list again. There's a couple things that, like, I was doing signs. And the other day that we're down and like a cordless cutoff wheel, a cordless grinder would be great.
Okay.
For the vandal resistant sign bolts.
Okay.
It make it so much quicker.
Okay.
Than out there with a chisel and a hammer trying to bust these things.
Mhm.
Yep.
But stupid stuff like that. We don't have any cordless tools there at all. We have a,
Stuck if it's liquid,
what's that?
not stuck if it's liquid.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I do have a spray, and you're looking at probably I don't know, $120, $150 for a cordless.
Okay.
Angle grinder.
I guess,
So I'm making notes here. I'm gonna look and
Yeah.
see if there's anything that we could get that would work with Makita batteries that we have. And we'll get them out of the road, maintenance and tool budget that we have.
I'll get some solid prices for you then.
Okay.
yeah, I guess, and I know if I asked you before, let us know what you think we need now and what we need in the future, whether it's vehicles, whatever. So this way we could start planning for it and getting that done too.
Yeah.
And if there's items that you think we can get rid of.
Yeah,
Next is the zoning hearing board. Dave Stobby had resigned. We need to make some time at a Saturday meeting to talk to Beverly and Doug to see who would be the best fit for that and make an appointment at a subsequent meeting. Next is tree removal. We've got some trees that we need to take out. So in the spring, that's something that we will be working on. I think Jesse and we coordinate when we're going to do that. We're going to come out and help. I think John possibly might be willing to come out and give us a chainsaw safety demonstration
it could be a trade.
on the tree. Could be a training opportunity.
Oh, whenever that happened, I was gonna give, Chief Weaver a call if they wanted to come over and play.
Yeah.
Those
Okay.
guys cut stuff all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll work on that for the spring. And then for the MTCA, we'll do the shed move at the same time. We'll take the trees out and then we'll slide the shed over and then do the roof on that.
That shed, when we moved that, we used Womelsdorf's forks. They loaned us the forks that we can go right underneath it with the backhoe lifted up.
How long are the forks?
No, those the forks we got.
Okay.
They're not the ones we have aren't long enough?
No, that little thing ain't gonna lift.
Yeah. I was gonna say, cause like, I think I have 4-foot forks, but I don't think that's long
These
enough.
are fairly long.
I think almost north of
Serving
like
fork.
5 feet. But I think they're good for, is it 2,500 pounds or 5,000? I'd have to look at
Yeah,
it.
I mean, maybe we could
I
just,
mean, we've
just-
looked at stuff with them before, which was over capacity, so it's not a big.
and we'll see what our options are. We can even go the route of asking Wilmsdorf if we can borrow them for the afternoon, because we have the backhoe that'll be able to
Mhm.
do the lifting. We just don't have the forks.
Yeah,
So-
I always went down and just got them from, thanks the guy's name, the black guy.
I know.
Yeah, he always gave them to me. I asked Hopple.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we can just see if we can borrow them, because like we have the equipment, we just don't have the forks.
yeah, they
Um,
fit right on our
yeah,
backhoe.
yeah, and so that's,
They fit on Roy's.
yeah, and say it's the quick connect thing, so they
Right.
fit on pretty much everything. So, okay, so we'll work on moving that around, and like I said, Jesse and I will do the reshinkling on the roof at the same time. We'll just make a Saturday of it.
The shingles are inside.
Yeah, that they're there. It just got too cold. I just didn't
Yeah, oh,
get to
yeah.
it before the weather turned. Similarly, the memorial stone that Twyla Oberholzer was generous enough to donate to Marion Township. We just need to find a good spot to move it to for the time being, and we can move that sometime in the spring. Personally, I'm kind of partial to putting it in the middle of that little traffic island thing
Yeah.
there, but
Yeah.
we'll hammer out an exact location, put some gravel down, and put that where it needs to be for the time being. Doesn't have to permanently be there, but just has to be safe and steady.
I know in the MTCA notes I got from Kelly, I believe you guys were discussing that also, right? What did you guys come up with?
We wanted, the same thing as they do the tombstones and the graveyards. They dig down 2 foot
Yeah,
and then pour concrete
well, for permanent location, yes,
for
but
permanent.
for just
Yep.
for us moving it for the time being, I would say we put down like 8 to 10 inches of gravel
Yeah,
and rest it.
Yeah,
Right.
And then once we know where it's gonna go, then yeah, we can put it on an actual proper pad.
right.
Okay, meetings. So starting March, we're gonna be switching over from Zoom to Teams. We will need to send something out about this, so if we can maybe throw together a newsletter. Doesn't have to be anything super big or crazy, but just, the reminders about pumping out your septic tank and, not shooting grass clippings into the road. If we can circulate that, we can get that out over the next like week or two.
Yeah,
Just letting people know. We'll put it up on the website and everything, but we'll also run the two meetings in tandem. So if somebody does join the Zoom, there'll be a notice to switch over to Teams, go check out the website. Which I think should be sufficient in terms of legal notice, and then we can start using the other platform. For Thursday night, two things. I'm going to cover 32 and 33 at the same time. We're going to evaluate and vote on switching the secretary to 40 hours a week. Right now, it's just part-time, 25 hours a week. We had previously gone down the avenue of trying to have a second secretary because there's just more stuff to do than 25 hours a week will permit. I looked at the budget. Irene also looked at the budget, and we have the capacity to make this change. I'm in favor of it.
Absolutely.
And then the hour change, we'd have the office available Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, and then Friday would be closed for
so Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday. I'm sorry. Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4. And then Friday would be administrative functions that Lisa would still be in the office, just the door would be closed and she wouldn't be answering the phone.
I like Lisa's typo better, admirative. So Friday would be here to admire
Sure.
Lisa.
Yes.
Yeah, I like her
Um,
typo better.
But that would give people more access to the building potentially if they can't come in during the normal 9 to 2. They'd have an extra 2 hours every day that they'd be able to get in here for permits or anything else. And then Friday she could use for catching up on minutes or filing or any number of
There's so
other
much
things that
stuff
needs to be
to
done.
do.
yeah, there's,
There's so much.
There's
Yeah, I have to
it's
say,
never ending.
she even calls me on the weekends and asks me stuff.
Mm.
So, I mean, she's not working, but she's always working.
Working.
So, just to reference the rental things, what was that, a Saturday or Sunday? It was at like 4 or 5 o'clock. She called me and I know I hopped on my computer
Mhm.
and I started working on some information, but she's always working. Like she,
Yeah.
we got so fortunate when we got you, really.
I
did.
I appreciate the dedication on that,
Yeah,
and
me
I want
too.
to make sure that we're paying you for
Yep.
the time, really. So again, I don't have a problem with it. It works within the confines of the budget. The office hour thing, I think, is a good move. It is beneficial for everybody. You're around on Friday if there is some sort of emergency or somebody has a special situation where like I can only come in on Friday to drop off a permit.
Yeah, they
Obviously
can make
work
an
around that.
appointment with
They can
you.
make an appointment.
Yeah,
But otherwise, that'll give you a little bit of time to try to get your head above water on some of the stuff that you're working on.
We'll get you a desk lamp so that the big lights are on. Oh yeah, the film, I sent you a thing. We'll get that in a
Yeah.
little bit, yeah.
Okay, so the security system for the new office is in. They're gonna be doing the door sensor once we put the door in.
yeah,
There.
yes, that, but everything's in, so if anybody comes to the office, there is a doorbell out there, so
Yeah.
if they hit it, I get it on the screen, I see who it is, and I can let them in.
Good.
Oh.
Okay, trash collection.
Snow
Oh,
emergency.
so snow emergency, I'm sorry. I
kinda
keep
did that
doing
one
that.
before.
I keep doing that. Snow emergency, we're gonna be talking about how to handle that best. One of the big things is, like we talked about before, the parking. When we
Yep.
tell people to get off the road,
Yep.
there used to be some spots where they were able to park. But unfortunately, a lot of them are now privately held and that we don't have those options available to everybody. So we gotta assess how best to deal with the off-street parking in the event of a snow emergency and go from there. Yes.
We have, our meetings at the church
Mhm.
across from Pikes.
Yeah.
And he also said you could use that parking lot there.
So we need
Or-
some type of agreement.
Yeah, we would have to get a written agreement with them for.
Right.
Yeah.
right. But he's willing to do it.
Okay. We'll reach out to him and figure that out, because that will help. That's a decent amount of parking that people they might have to walk a little bit to their house, but it's at least close by. And we'll allow Carl to get the streets cleaned. Trash collection, as always, if there's any issues, please call the office. Let
Yeah,
us know,
yeah.
rather than calling JP Mascara directly. It works
yeah.
better when we call.
Yeah, call the office.
Um,
And I could give you a good example. Everyone, all the residents should have received some kind of a notification last year about a lawsuit against
Eagle.
Eagle. And so we have the documentation over when there was issues, whether you called or not, there's still that recording of the issues. So if you received that card and you wanted to participate in the class action suit, you could just call the office and say, hey, listen, I received this card. Can you tell me about it? We have documented dates of complaints.
Yep.
So, I mean, I hate to say it, but it helps with that. But
Yeah.
again, it's easier if we have one person calling and we're addressing the issue that way. And they've been very responsive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
And
soon as
we-
I get a call from a resident, I reach out to
Joe,
Jose, and he picks up right away and he takes care of it
Yep.
and.
either that day or the next day.
Mhm,
They're
yeah.
very
know, for
cognizant of their
that lady
contractual
that had the billing
obligations.
problem, once I got involved and talked to Jose, they were very
Yeah, yeah.
accommodating on straightening that
Yeah.
out for her.
Yeah, they're very good.
Do they have any other trash cans or whatever receptacles up in the old school?
You mean the actual like cans, the bins?
Well, not cans. No, they haven't planted. Eagle used to have a bunch of them out there.
You have any up there?
Yeah,
Nobody got the chance to go up there and look, I guess.
No, you talked to me about it.
Yeah, right. I said something to you about it, and
I
I
think
knew they
they
had some extras up there because
Where at?
in the old school, up in the
you're
attic.
In the
talking about
attic.
the
Did
little
you go up in
bins,
the
right?
attic?
Oh, I didn't go up in the attic. I was up on the second floor.
Yeah, there's nothing up in the attic.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't know where they had them, but
Yeah.
I think they had some extras up
Yeah.
there.
I don't think they're,
This winter's sort of hard on some of those.
Yeah.
Cracked, the break falls
Look,
apart, the lid
if-
falls off.
if it's cracked, I would say call the office, because
Yeah.
we might be able to get them to provide a replacement one. There was somebody else
Yeah.
that we had gotten a
We're
tow
still
for.
using the Eagle. We're
Yeah,
still using the Eagle, but I suppose they would have their own too.
They
Yeah.
do, and they were okay with people using Eagle, but if it breaks,
Yeah.
we can see if they're willing to give you a replacement one at no cost.
I just wasn't gonna bother them if there's still some,
No,
Okay.
I've, of all the digging around in the building that I've ever done,
okay.
they're not there. Wait for
Yeah.
everything to come back. But yeah, if you need something like that,
Oh,
just
man.
call the office and we'll help you get that squared out.
I know one of my rental houses there, they don't have any. We
Yeah.
got one, but it's still an old blue one or whatever. it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way that works is as long as it's one of the ones that has the wheels, like the actual tote thing, they'll collect it, because they're not using the forks. They're just dumping it in. So you can go to a Lowe's or a Home Depot or whatever and just pick one of them up.
Here's one right there.
I know on 2 occasions, on a Tuesday, I followed their trucks. Cause, somebody was complaining that they were dumping
Cycling
everything.
into the
No, I saw 2 trucks.
yeah.
And they didn't know it was me. They don't know who I
Yeah.
am. And I was following them.
Yeah.
And I was watching them on Main Street and.
I think they do a good job.
Yeah, it's everybody, myself included. I don't like the cost. It's expensive, but like when we put it out to bid, like I guess it's going on 4 years ago, it was actually more expensive. Like the cost of trash collection has gone up considerably. Same thing with recycling. Like there's less grants, and the stuff that they're getting, they don't have the ability to sell to a lot of the markets that they used to sell to. Like a lot of the recycling, I think, used to go to China.
It is.
And China stopped buying
Yeah.
it, so you suddenly have more stuff and less of a market for being able to sell it and reuse it. So it's kind of the perfect storm of cost going up on both of those things. Okay,
All right, Irene back.
Irene is back, so
I'm sorry.
good. You got office supplies. I'll keep an eye out if there's any desks that are,
Do we need any more desks?
I mean,
Like
do you want
actual
to,
desks.
do you want to continue using folding tables
I
permanently?
mean, they're fine right now, yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
well, let's put it this way, we're not in a rush, but if we
No,
can find some that are cheap or free, then
Yeah.
let's
I mean,
jump
I'm
on 'em.
okay with that. I think Carl, did you say you need a file cabinet?
Yes,
File
yeah.
cabinet.
Now, I said stopped over at JDM, one similar to mine. You wanted a 2-drawer one, correct?
Yeah,
They're right like $200 or under, depending on what Carl wants. So if you want to take a look there, or if you find a file cabinet, at another office supply place. I'm hesitant to order them off of line because you don't know the quality of the drawers and but
I have a little two drawer one I had gotten off of like Amazon. It's
is
decent.
it
It's nice,
sturdy?
yeah.
Yeah, well, again, like I don't know if Carl can give us an idea of what he wants and we could go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're around $200 or less, depending on what features that they had at JDM,
This
so,
one's not that bad, cause I got a wooden one, a 2-drawer wooden one.
yeah,
Yeah, mine's metal, but
yeah.
and
I
wooden
mean, I was
for
looking at the metal
home.
ones, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you give
It
us
was
an
like
idea
80.
of
I
what
don't even
you,
care if it's off
Yeah.
of-
Between
Yeah.
$80 and $90, something like that.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
cause he keeps files, so I have
Yeah.
some files from the equipment stuff I could hand over to him.
Yeah.
So,
the other thing that I had made a note of, I'd like to get a mailbox license for Carl, so that Carl actually has an email address.
Yep.
Oh, and a login. for his
Yeah.
computer.
So I actually talked
Yeah, we were
to Lisa
talking.
about that this morning. So Solve IT at one point put an administrative password on the computers. They didn't tell me what it is. So functionally, I can set you a sign in like 30 seconds. I don't have the password to do it.
oh, we
So
could just give Mike Roberts a call.
I had, and they
Yeah.
didn't give it to me the last time, so I told
Okay.
Lisa to call them.
Yeah, I'm
So-
gonna
Yeah.
reach out because,
Yeah.
Peter's gonna be out of town the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yes, it's on the list of things to
Okay.
do, but unfortunately my hands are kind of tied on that one because they locked me out. So
are you here for Thursday night meeting?
I am here for Thursday. Yeah, I'm
Good.
coming back late Wednesday night. Committee for the township building.
Wait, did we talk about the sign?
Oh, no, I have that circled. So
Oh.
I did not get a chance to draw that up over the weekend because I spent,
Did you see
unfortunately,
what we were given?
no, I didn't.
They spelled municipal wrong.
Yeah,
PLE. It was just the funniest thing.
Uh,
And as John had previously let us know, if it says EOC on there somewhere, that may enable us to get grants.
yeah, so I was gonna put together a like vectored file for printing,
Okay.
but I spent Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with the flu,
Okay.
so that did not happen. But that's on my, and I'm better. I'm better now. Don't worry.
Ask Peter.
Yeah, no,
I can see.
I'm better now. It's been a whole week. But the sign out front, like you said, we need to put it up, but we need to have specific things on it to make some doors open for us for grant
Yeah.
opportunities and things. So
Can we get like you guys okay if we get like a covering for the door? We could get one of those clings we could
Yeah.
put on there. And this way people,
how wide is the glass on
They-
that? Is it
we could
30?
find a cling
I was
for
gonna say, I
that.
might even
Yeah.
have some because I had gotten some for windows, but I
Okay.
think the one that I got is 24 inches.
We'll take a look. I'd sent Lisa a quick message about that. They have like, you could look in, but you could look out, but you
Yeah,
can't look in.
That's the
Yeah,
kind that I got.
We'll make
is-
sure that it fits the door. They're
Yeah.
just a couple of
Yeah,
dollars.
say it's
Yeah,
that comes out of, I think, just secretarial like supplies.
Yeah.
Just fine to pick it up at Walmart or wherever,
Yeah.
Staples.
yeah, one day last week I had 3 people,
Yeah.
and you were here the one day
Yeah.
looking for the tea house.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll try to find some time this week to work on the sign thing that it really shouldn't be that hard. It's just getting time to do it.
Do we need to get 3 quotes on that?
It's gonna be so minimal that I don't think it's gonna even get anywhere near that threshold, but we'll call once we have the design and say, hey, we have the physical sign. We want to get this printed
I
on
mean,
it. How much
I'd
it's gonna
call,
cost.
once we have a design that we like,
Yeah.
I'd call another place to ask
Well, yeah,
them.
do 2
Yeah.
places, but I
Okay.
don't think we legally have that
Yeah.
requirement there
No.
because of the amount.
Cause we also need to get some signage on the front door too.
Well, let's just stick on letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
We could do that too.
Yeah, that's like a Hobby Lobby AC Moore kind of thing. Just get some stick on letters. and
AC
we'll-
Moore is shut
Did
down
he say letters on
years
there?
ago.
Carl can do it, he
That's-
said. He's good.
that's my frequency in which I go to craft stores. but,
Yeah,
yeah, that's again, that's easy and very minimal.
So
Um,
Carl
funny.
won it.
the township building committee, I'm pretty sure we adopted that resolution at the last meeting.
We did not,
We did not? Okay,
no.
so I'll make a note for Thursday night that we need to adopt that. But that would officially put that into place, and then we would need to appoint the members of that based on interest from the community. And again, I want to try to get a selection of people in Stoutsburg, outside of Stoutsburg, and Stonecroft.
Yeah, Colin actually had that in his email list of, make sure I put
Okay.
on for next Thursday. And 39 also. So,
Okay, next is the Township UCC Board,
County use.
County UCC Board.
Yep.
We need to execute an intergovernmental agreement on that and pay the fees to participate in that. We just have to approve it and go through those motions at the next meeting. The drone, we'll need to approve Carl taking the classes on using the drone. That's a housekeeping item, so Lisa, I'll make a motion to approve Carl to take the drone flight classes.
Second.
okay, motion made by Peter, second by Irene. Roll call, Peter?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
EMC report. John, do you have anything that you want to bring up for
Yeah, a
today?
couple things. The run. card
Wait,
last month.
is he loud enough for the
Um,
microphone? You
yeah,
need to
you
put
Yeah,
it
you
here.
might want to amble over here. I don't know if it's going to pick you up. Amble.
He's using fancy words today.
Stand up front here.
For today calendar is going to pay off.
Your
Jim.
name and address.
Yeah, your name, address?
There's so many I want to say right now. The run cards the chief brought up, going over, in a nutshell, it's increasing manpower for mutual aid companies on some, potential problem areas. And I'm a firm believer in getting the extra equipment coming first. You can always turn them back when they get an officer on scene. They don't need them, send them home. But, especially on like the QRS, EMS response in certain areas. We talked about it yesterday and I agree 1000%, everything that he put in, you guys please adopt, so we can get it up to county. The Makita tools that we're gonna give the fire department, we need a letter for their treasurer, stating that, number one, we're giving them those tools where we still have to own them for the 3 years of the grant. At the end of that grant period, I said, hopefully if we get this done, like for this month, it'd be like March of, what do we say, 27? 2027,
Mm.
officially, all those tools will be officially donated to the fire department, lock, stock and barrel. As far as putting the drone team together, I'm getting SOGs, some copies from other teams throughout Eastern Pennsylvania. So I'm not rewriting recreating a wheel. I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. I'm basically copying, City of Reading and Spring Township, because we all have the exact same drone. That was part of the interoperability, so we can share batteries. And I think you can see our stuff is pretty well labeled, so I'm not using it. I met with Texas A&M instructors this past week while I was at FEMA, and there's a TEACS class, Texas A&M. This is one we're gonna host here this fall between, I'm thinking, you guys can see this. And
You found stuff better?
what's that? That, it's a Friday night and a Saturday class. And it's more so for families of the firefighters. If you want to take that back when you can. It's all paid for on a grant, and they actually build props and whatnot. I met with the instructors, like I said, they're out of like Louisiana and Texas, where basically when the firefighters aren't home and something's going on, this is teaching the families what they can be doing. They actually build like wall props, how they can breach a wall if they're trapped in their homes and stuff like that. And they come up a couple days early. They build everything. And depending on where and what, Richland Fire Company has the biggest meeting space around because we can have up to 40 people for it. And that's where I've been doing a lot of the classes here recently for the mutual aid and what. And the earliest dates, because this is tough to get this class because of how many people want it. We're probably looking at October, a Friday and a Saturday, Friday evening and a Saturday all day, but it's free to us. You know, so it is also for the first responders to be there, but it is oriented more towards our families when they're not home. And I've talked to some of the people that have taken the class, and they excited was an understatement. You know, we really don't get our families too involved too often. So, but I mean, Marion,
Mm.
because it's Marion and Richland will basically be the two entities at first to get all the invites that they're hosting it over, because they got the big room. So,
Yeah.
And that's it right now.
Okay, awesome.
Do you have
Thank you.
anything you want me to post on the bulletin board for all residents?
Once I have dates and stuff down, then I'll put a flyer up.
Right.
This is just literally meeting last week. This is the one we actually tried to do at Stonecroft last year, but the instructors were all deployed on hurricanes, so they had to cancel. So,
Lisa, could you add a note on there for the letter to the treasurer? I think we're probably gonna want Colin to
Okay.
produce that. Make sure that we cover all the legal Ts and Is.
yeah, just so they're covered, and they ultimately, they know they're getting everything at the end.
Yeah.
So,
And then the other thing that I wanted to ask you is, can we work on setting up some like CPR, child CPR and like defibrillator classes for this year?
yes, that, and because we never ordered the Stop the Bleed stuff that we wanted to get
Yeah.
in December.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, do I need to bring that up again to get that? It was approved November, December to buy it.
It's approved.
Okay. I'll get with my home boss.
Yeah.
Get that done, but because this is a perfect space right here.
Yeah.
Where with just a couple of the tables, because it's only 8 to 10 students for each of those classes.
Yeah.
But I don't care if I have to do one of those classes a month, everybody in the township's getting it first. And I want to try between the fire company, I want those guys to get it first.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones that with the tourniquets we order, any firefighter that takes that class, they will be issued their own tourniquet to keep in their vehicle and on their gear. For the general public, it's $40 a pop. And it's there, just the general public is considered, if you want it, you gotta go get it yourself, but I wanna make sure the firefighters have tourniquets.
Yep.
So, but yes, can't remember his first name, Zimmerman from, he's Myerstown EMS, Newmanstown EMS, but he's the CPR EMT instructor that says whatever we need, he'll help with.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
And
Yeah,
I've
you
got
can go.
someone too, John.
What?
I have someone also who's an EMT, who's a CPR instructor.
Yeah.
Sue
Oh,
Grimes.
yes.
Yep.
Everybody knows who.
Everyone knows Sue.
Everybody knows. Sue.
Yeah. So, yeah, and not our Sue.
Not our
Yeah,
Sue, another Sue.
This is typical of the places I've taken CPR. It looks like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect location, it's easy to get to and.
Yeah, parking,
Mm.
bathroom. Yeah, this is a good, the only thing that's missing is a good place to order lunch from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to get somebody to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay, so that concludes the agenda items. In terms of comments, I don't have anything beyond what we've already talked about. So Irene, do you have any comments?
No, I don't know if like we're having a mail issue, like there's items we're not receiving physically in the mail, and when I'm mailing stuff, we're having delays in people receiving stuff. So
I don't know that that's
yeah.
a here issue.
Yeah.
What I mentioned to you guys is
Yeah.
I got one of the checks that you mailed me
Yeah.
was postmarked from Honolulu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
I have the envelope
Yeah.
saved because I was like, what?
yeah.
Um,
So just as a FYI, if you guys
Wow.
are reviewing the bills, if you're seeing a different amount on what we owe versus what the check is, I'm checking our account. They're receiving the stuff. It's just getting like,
late.
it's like everything I'm sending out from Womelsdorf is just not happening.
Yeah.
The same thing, we're missing a whole slew from 4 different accounts of bank statements.
Mm.
Again, I'm staying on top of it. The bank is giving us them physically.
Mm.
There's some accounts I don't necessarily balance every month because there's no transactions on them, but because of how things are set up, we would have had to pay for statements
Yeah.
to have everything online, and it was $10 a pop for each,
Yeah.
each account, so that would have been $60 a month fee. I said, no, just mail it to us. We haven't received stuff, so,
That still also racks my brain because like usually like everywhere else under the sun,
Yeah.
it's you have to pay to get the physical statement.
yeah,
They want you to use the online one, but like the Fulton stuff is the exact opposite.
yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I'll keep an eye out on stuff, but
Yeah,
I
but
think
if,
that's, I
but
think
if
that's a
you,
post.
if you see that,
post office.
if you see that the stuff is paid, it's just like, I'm getting it out,
Yeah.
but they're not receiving it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, because
Yeah.
this isn't,
The only
it's
thing
just,
we
it's
could do
months of this.
is when they get it,
Yeah,
if they give us a late charge, if you give me the phone number, I can squeeze in time to call somebody and harass them
Oh, no,
about it, but
yeah.
get them to
No,
reverse it.
the only problem that all of our vendors were fine with everything. I call and I said, no, it's in the mail. I sent it on this date and
Yeah.
you could see from the check number. The only problem we had was with the credit card company.
'Cause-
And at the last meeting, we approved to have it as an ACH payment. And even
Yeah.
Carl was familiar with their notorious habit of building. So that's taken care of. Everyone has to just submit receipts to me and everything's being kept track of. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Perfect. Okay, anything else?
yeah, that was it.
Okay, Lisa,
No, nothing for me.
Carl,
We didn't go over.
I hope you guys got to see my email, the update. Hope you guys are okay with that, just kind of.
yeah, no, I think that's fantastic.
Loop of what's going on.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd like to do, there's some training I'd like to sign up for. I signed up for a bunch of stuff with PennDOT because that's all free.
Mhm.
And they have some pretty good stuff. PSATs has a certificate academy for road crew. I'd like to sign up for, but theirs costs money.
Sure.
It's $75 to enroll in the program, and then every class you take costs. If it's a webinar, it's like $30. Flagger training is an in-person thing. I think that was $55 if you're a member.
Mhm.
If you're not, it's more.
Yeah, give us the list of what you want to do and the costs, and I'm positive that in one budget line or another, like in the grand scheme of things, $75 here, $30 there, $40, we can fit that into either like road maintenance
Oh,
or,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
tools and whatever. Like
Yep.
there's ways that we can accommodate that.
I would also like to, if possible, go to the PSATs conference.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Hershey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we,
Now through PSATs, it's $199, but I think if I read it right, I can actually go through LTAP for like $89 or $99.
Okay.
And that's actually the stuff I want.
yeah,
There's stuff there that I don't need. It has nothing to do with me. It's more a supervisor
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
than a road crew.
It was very interesting going last year. It was very useful.
Yeah,
It helped me gain like a very different perspective, like taking that step back. And I know it's hard to not get caught up in what the immediate needs of what we're at. I guess when you're done, I'll make some other comments.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
that's it.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
typically every year
Yeah.
approve a selection of people, the supervisors,
Yeah.
the secretary, the road crew to go to the PSATs conference
Yeah.
if they'd like to. So if you're able to do that through LTAP, that's a little more focused for what you want. That's a little less money. That's even better.
Yeah, I think I can. I'm not,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know if I read it right, but.
even if you can't,
It's-
like I said,
Yeah.
historically, we approve
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We have that built into the
But-
budget
I think the deadline to
to
Yeah.
enroll.
is April. After that, the price goes up like another $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go
Yeah.
ahead and take a look at like the LTAP versus the PSATs sort of thing,
Yeah,
but one way or the other, enroll.
okay. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. So like to the point I just made, sometimes like there's things there's things you don't know.
Hmm.
And as Lisa and I have been just going through a lot of the materials, records management is one of those things. It's taking that step back and looking at the big picture. We've been so focused on putting out little fires. I hate to say it, we're finally at the point where we're able to see that bigger picture and get through things. So, as time goes by, I read through the records management book. I'll be mentioning a little bit more about that.
It's a thick book.
It is. There's a lot of stuff in there that doesn't pertain to us. But as time goes by, we will need to appoint someone to do records management and come up with a system. It involves resolutions. Come up with a system that works for us and that it does address the materials that are still in the building. Due to our current situation, we may be able to make a request through the agency, I forgot what agency it is, to photocopy the materials that are there and not necessarily keep the originals, the ones that we are required to hang on to, but emails, all these documents, everything you see here, there is a maintenance cycle for them. So I put something on the financial boxes and I'm gonna type it up so it's a little bit more clear. For example, financials have to be held on to for a minimum of 7 years. But there's other data that's in there which reflects the tax collectors stuff. So in total, it has to be held on for 10 years. So I'm gonna make sure that all my boxes are labeled according to records management practices. This is how long you have to hold on to these materials. If you would like to filter out the other items, which are separated into
Yeah.
files, you can do that. Otherwise, it's a 10-year hang on to this. And then it's taking the proper steps to destroy the files according to the records management guidelines.
Yep.
So that's something that I'm gonna be working on the next couple of months. That might be something I might be bringing Dan in to say, hey, I need you
Yeah,
to head this as far as, what we need to do. So at some point, we're getting a better grip on what we have. But it's going through in disgustingly gory detail to sort through it and have that records management program, which we're obligated to have.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I guess sometimes saying it out loud helps me think about it too. But I think it might be, it's a big task. Someone has to read through literally every piece of paper that's at that old building.
Yeah,
Going
so-
forward, Lisa and I have an idea of what we can do. So, for example, the minutes, according to that records management book, if it was created electronically,
Mhm.
there isn't an obligation to hang on to a paper copy, but out of, I hate to say tradition or habit, we're
Most
still
things are still
hanging on
paper.
it. But all of our emails there needs to be, their categories, Lisa's doing this already. I've been keeping all the treasurer's documents as scheduled, so moving forward, the items that we have here, there's a lot of Roadmaster stuff that needs to be kept. Even John's items, so
Mhm.
we're doing that moving forward, but we have to also look
We have to look
back.
back, too.
Yeah,
So the copier that we have now will do multi-page, will that do duplex, like front and back for scanning?
yeah.
Okay, so we're
Scanning,
starting,
we'll do for scanning.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Okay.
because I know it would do it for print, I didn't know it
Yeah.
would do it for scanning. That we should go through as we're cataloging some of the things that we have only physical,
Mhm.
just scan them at the time of going through. That
Mhm.
way we can, it's gonna take a little bit longer in the macro sense of it, but we'll have a digital copy of it
Yeah.
then as well.
Yeah,
And
and do we have an off-site, so the stuff, everything that we're doing on the computer, is that to the cloud?
yeah, it's entirely in the cloud.
Okay. None of the QuickBooks stuff is, but I have a
You can-
little.
Well, you can actually, you could save that QuickBook backup file. And before I leave, I'll show you how to do that. You can just save that to the SharePoint and that's out in the cloud.
You need to show
I'll
me
show you how
that.
to do that.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah.
It's good to have the physical backup too,
Yes.
but
Yes.
having it on site and off site is the
Yeah.
ideal.
And again, like as things progress, there's the requirements that we keep up with the newest recommendations, and it just blows my mind. I mean, 3 decades ago, it was just all paper. And even that, computers weren't used as much, but there was still a requirement. Now, as we move forward, we have to keep aware of new technology.
Yeah, I will also look and see if there's a good, whether it's built directly into Microsoft or some other tool that we can get that will do automatic records management on certain things. So that when you set the classification of a document, it would tell you that these are the things that are within the 5-year window or the 10-year window, or they're
Okay.
subject to, whatever rule. We have that at work. I don't know
Okay.
what the cost is, but it's built directly into SharePoint. So it'll tell you, like, you have a document that's coming up on the end of the 5-year window and you
Mhm.
need to either destroy it or you need to renew
Yeah.
the
And
document.
any reminders, I mean, I'm trying to do physical reminders, and with the items that are still back at the building, I'm gonna try to categorize them as best as I can, so we have a save, destroy, pile and digitize pile, but
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah,
So I might recruit Dan for that,
okay, yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
And I don't think we should be bringing those old files over
Yeah.
Yeah,
here,
the especially the big stuff like the maps, like,
yeah.
regardless of
Yeah.
what the restoration people
It's,
say.
it's the
Yeah.
molds.
It's
you-
the chance.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, 5 minutes in there and
Yeah.
like I never, and John can tell, I've been with him for over 30 years. I've never had any issues with mold and dust. I walk in there, it's like, boom, it's just awful. What?
You're sick of talking.
Oh, yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
so I would be
I gotta go
hesitant to
check
bring
this
any of
morning
that
in my
stuff
eyes
over.
are watering, so.
The other thing is I want to make sure that the big maps that we have, any of the newer stuff that
Yeah.
we get from like SDE, making sure that we have a digital copy of it. We still have to keep the physical
physical,
one into
yeah.
perpetuity, but
Yeah,
I want to make sure that we're into the habit of being
Yeah.
more digitally
Yeah.
focused.
we need to have a better way of storing the maps. I could tell you, the maps are there, they're slouching, they're folding over. So we need to do
We could-
something,
we
whether
could
it's the PVC
Tubes.
thing,
I like
yeah.
the tubes idea personally.
Whatever you could come and think of, I want you to, if you can, take a look at what we have so that we can put together something to, cause they're getting destroyed.
Yeah.
just how they're sitting in the office right
Yeah,
now.
we need to change the storage.
Yeah.
Medium on
Yeah.
that.
Again, once we know all the physical stuff that we have, maybe at that point, if we need to rent a storage unit or whatever the case is, we need to, you know, because we're under an affirmative obligation to preserve the materials.
Yeah.
We may be able to destroy a lot more, and that bank of file cabinets that's in the room. Again, all that stuff has to be gone through. The other problem is the way people used to do it. It was by name.
Which, yeah,
Some of those individuals are long dead. Those materials have to be read through and
Categorized.
by
Yeah.
property, parcel
Yeah,
number.
yeah.
that's, yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't bring in a rocket launcher.
yeah.
These are a lot cheaper than the ones you can.
Yeah.
actually buy.
yeah, that's, I figured we'd probably home brew our own, but that's the
Oh,
kind
I
of
was
thing
gonna
that I
say,
like for
You
the
don't
map
necessarily,
storage.
you need like just a section of tube so that they remain intact. You don't necessarily need that whole thing with the cap, but you know, I hate to say it, almost a wall of tubes would probably work for what we have.
Just those two caps and stuff. on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could label each thing clearly, so you don't necessarily have to pull it out, you know what it is before. And I know it sounds so cumbersome, but we have an
Yeah,
obligation, a
I mean,
legal
it's
obligation. to
cumbersome
do
or
this.
not, we have to do it.
Yeah.
That's the requirement.
Yeah,
So,
I'll talk to Dan, see if he's interested in that.
okay, any other comments before we adjourn?
No, I apologize.
No, you don't have to
Yeah.
apologize. Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. The time is now 10:19 AM.
Second,
Roll call, Peter?
Aye.
Irene?
aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you,
All right.
everybody. See you on
Should we
Thursday.
include records management in the next